What is going on, guys? In this video we're going to be doing the free code cap section of React, and the challenge will be to review using props with stateless functional components. So except the last challenge, you have been passing props to stateless functional components. These components act like pure functions. They accept props as input and return the same view every time they are passed the same props. Cool. Okay, so now you may be wondering, hang on, what is state? Don't worry, we will cover that off in the next challenge according to free code camp, because it says here, alright, in more detail. So before we move on, let's actually have a review of the terminology for components. So basically, a stateless functional component is any function you write which accepts props and returns JSX. A stateless component, however, is a class that extends React.component, but it does not use internal state. Okay. Finally, a stateful component is a class component that does maintain its own internal state. You may see stateful components referred to simply as components or React components. And then it says that there's a common pattern to try to minimize statefulness and to create stateless functional components wherever possible, which is I would say a best practice. This helps contain your state management to a specific area of your application. In turn, this improves development and maintenance of your app by making it easier to follow how changes to state affect its behavior. Alright, cool. So, and it gives us a task to do. So it says that there's a campsite component, which is this, and that renders a camper component, alright, as a child. So first of all, we need to define this camper component because it's not been defined yet. Alright, so I'm gonna just define it. If you want, you can code along or whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna say const and then camper. Alright, and then I will assign a props as well as argument or as a parameter, and then open and close curly brackets. And then it says that it should define assign a default props as well. So we need to assign a default props. So what I'm gonna do is make default props of it. So stateless component, and then I would say default props. Alright, and then it's asking for default props of name, which is camper boat. Alright, so I'll just assign it the name and then camper boat. Alright, now that that's out of the way, cool. So now what I'm gonna do is inside the camper component, which is this one, we need to render any code that we want to, but we need to have a p element. Okay, so I'm gonna just return the p element from the camper So it would be like P and then another one P, and then what this is going to have is essentially anything at the moment. So I would say say this is my camper component. Alright, actually state functional component. Alright, and then it says that make sure you have one P element that includes, only one that includes only the name value passed in as props. So you must be observing that at the moment we are not really passing the value as props. So we'll delete this line and pass this value, pass name from the default props, and how I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna access props and then do name. Alright, cool. And then finally it says define prop type, so we're gonna define prop type as well above this. So prop types, okay, and then I'm gonna define it as my property, which is name, and the prop type of it, which would be a string, because name will be a type string and it should be required always. Alright, here we go. So that's our whole state functional component, and that's a type of the prop that we are passing in, and this is our prop, which is the camper boat. Alright, now let's see if this works. If not, I've done something wrong. Alright, let's check out. Yay, it passed, and the cat. Whoa. Alright guys, I really hope you understood the overall concept of defining a stateless functional component, defining the prop types and the default props as well. If you have any question, feel free to leave me a comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And until then, have fun practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.